Here are solutions to homework set number 5 for ECE 476 Advanced Embedded Systems. Now the goal of this homework set is to come up with a system like the following. I want to have a joystick input, control the speed of a motor. So here I can make it go counterclockwise, 0 to 100% using PWM, or going clockwise, 0 to 100% using PWM. And display that on the graphics display as a bar chart, and your speed as a number. How do we do that? Well, the first problem is come up with a way to drive a motor forward and backwards using PWM. So the connections to the motor, I have an H-bridge. See down here. The Pico outputs voltages to an H-bridge, channel A and B, that drives the motor's output. When I apply 3.3 volts to A, motor spins forward, 3.3 volts to B, motor spins backwards. Now I do a PWM output to control that. In terms of coding, I'm going to define V plus and V minus to be PWM outputs at 100 Hz. And then from the keyboard, ask you to input a number from minus 100 to plus 100, calculate the duty cycle if it's positive, duty cycle if it's negative, applying to the two pins, and you should be able to control the speed. So trying that, going over to Fa24, here's the code that's running. If I input the speed of plus 20, you can see that V plus is 20% on and the motor spinning clockwise. If I input the speed of 40, motor spinning faster, bigger pulse width. 80, even faster, higher pulse width. So that's going forward, back to 0. Now if we go negative, minus 20, what happens is I increase channel B. And my sync is on channel A, so it's not synced. But you kind of see the 20% duty cycle. Change it to minus 40%, spins faster. Minus 80%, minus 80% duty cycle. And then back to 0. Okay, so at this point I'm pretty convinced I can make the motor spin clockwise, counterclockwise, 0 to 100%. Next, let's come up with a Python routine that uses the joystick input. I want to input, or use the joystick to input the numbers minus 100 to plus 100. So here's one way to do that. I'll set up A to D 0 as my analog input. Here's my scalar. It's going to go 0 to 200. Then the percentage is that A to D times scalar, or A to D minus the center position times K, goes from minus 100 to plus 100. So if I try that, go over to Fa24, bring up problem 2, run this puppy. So here's my number that I'm reading. As I pull the joystick left, it goes minus 100, actually minus 93, to plus 100. Not quite centered, but pretty close. All right, so I'm convinced I have an analog input, minus 100 to plus 100. Third one is get the graphics display to work. So here, I'm going to turn on the LCD display, set my colors, clear the background as black, draw a box around the whole screen in gray, and then read the analog input as my percentage, display it as a string. So this is speed, minus 100 to plus 100%. Display that starting at 1010, upper left corner. Then do the velocity, that's a box. First, draw the box, wait 200 milliseconds, erase it. Then repeat. So what that looks like, problem 3, run that boy. And down here is the Pico. As I vary the input, let's move the joystick. There's going left, going right. Okay, I've got the LCD display working. The last problem is put it all together and come up with the motor speed controller. So read the analog inputs, set the PWM for V plus, V minus, turn on the LCD display, read the joystick position, output the duty cycle, display the message, put it all together. Problem 4. And problem 4. And here's what she looks like. As I run it, if we go counterclockwise, the PWM increases on the minus side. Slow it down. Go positive, PWM increases on the plus side. And displayed on the LCD display. So that is homework set number 5 for ECE 476.